It's now my honor to introduce this year's keynote speaker, Brenna Davis. A 1998 graduate of Huxley, Brenna is a sustainability expert, writer, and director of sustainability for Virginia Mason Health System. Under her leadership, Virginia Mason has become a national and global leader in healthcare sustainability. Brenna began her career in the oil industry and has nearly 2 decades of sustainability experience. She is the chair and co-founder of Washington Business for Climate Action and has spoken on climate change across the state, at the White House, and at the recent UN Climate Change Conference in Paris. Brenna is the author of an upcoming book, Regeneration: How the Resilient Heart, Creative Mind, and Compassionate Soul Light the Path to Global Sustainability. Please help me welcome Huxley alum Brenna Davis.
Hi, everyone. Dean was asking me earlier, he said, did you guys have these images up here on the screen when you were graduating? And I said, we didn't even have PowerPoint back then. How would we have them on the screen? But this has been wonderful to see all of you here today, and I want to thank the Dean and the faculty and staff and the advisory board members and all the students who worked so hard to get here, and I especially want to recognize the LGBTQ students and the students of color. I want to tell you that I'm so excited for you to enter the environmental field, and your perspectives are so needed. I also want to say thank you to the mentors and families and loved ones who are here. Are you excited? That's a lot of work getting these guys through, so thank you. Yep. And I was reflecting on what it was like to graduate 18 years ago, which is crazy. So 18 years ago, we were still meeting. We were in a building that was a big concrete giant. MTV was still music television. Texting meant reviewing our textbooks. I don't know if anyone's texting right now, but I love it. Cell phones were like the size of bricks, and some of them were in cars, like attached to the car. And then like .com, what was that? Just starting. And then Periscope was like the submarine, piece of equipment on a submarine. Now it's like this live broadcasting thing. And today we're still meeting in the big concrete building. I just visited it with a lot of affection. And Rihanna is on fleek, I hear. And Amazon is not just an online bookstore. I actually use Prime all the time to order things like wine and, you know, everyone knows what a hashtag is. Hashtag climate change is real. And we're in a new era where we're not just working to save the whales, but we're also working to save the humans. My interest in environmental issues started as a kid, and I'm a 4th-generation Washingtonian. Can you believe it? I began studying environmental issues after I met Ernst Gaden, who was an African-American pioneer urban planner who was one of the founding instructors here at Huxley. He was my mentor and guide, and he believed in me. He met me and he said, I think you'd be really good at this. And I didn't really believe in myself, but I thought, gosh, if Ernst Gaden says I would be good at this, I bet I could do it. So I did, and I started studying environmental science, and I'm really grateful to him. And Ernst, if you're up there, love you, man. I knew before I got into Huxley that I wanted to study the nexus of business and the environment, and back then I didn't have a name for it, but it made a lot of sense to me, and so I designed my own major, like many of you nonconformists did, so I could study that. And at the time we called it industrial ecology, and now it's called sustainability. I was able to do my internship with Arco Cherry Point Refinery, and Gene Myers, I think I saw you cutting a rug up there. Hi, thank you for helping me. Do you remember that? We were like, I want to work in an oil refinery. Okay. So I'm so grateful for that experience, though, because I wanted to go where I was needed, and I knew that the oil and gas industry needed me to help move the environmental movement along, help explain things. And when I got there, what I found out was there were a lot of people, a lot of workers that worked there that really cared about the environment. They went kayaking, they had families that lived here, they went crabbing, they really cared. And so it really taught me a lot about compassion for people. And we all need fuel until we're able to transition to a clean energy economy, right? So I'm really grateful for that experience. After that, I went to work for Puget Sound Energy. I worked there for almost a decade, and that was a great experience. And now I'm at Virginia Mason, and as the dean said, we are one of the rated the most sustainable hospitals in healthcare. And that led me to work in the last few years on climate change. And what we know about climate change is that it's the biggest human health threat of our century, according to the Surgeon General, according to the American Medical Association, and the Lancet Journal, which are all leading medical organizations. Obviously, the Surgeon General, you know who he is. And when it comes down to it, planet health is people health. We can't have healthy people if we don't have a healthy planet. And when we harm the environment and the Earth's ecosystems, we're harming our own bodies. And you know, without plants, we don't have oxygen. Without bees, we don't have food. And without clean water, we can't live, I think, for more than a day, right? We can live for 3 days without food or a day without water. And so because of climate change, the bees and trees and water are all threatened, and so are we. And the new bumper sticker, or Huxley motto, or whatever, should say, save the whales and the humans. That's my new thing. As a kid, our family, I grew up in a house in North Seattle. We had a tiny house. My dad was a teacher. And we didn't have a lot, but each year I dreamed of having a Hello Kitty themed birthday party in our backyard. I was obsessed with Hello Kitty. And, you know, my birthday was in early May, and so every year it would rain. And so I sort of gave up on my dream of a huge party because every time it would rain, and our house was too small to have many people. But 30 years later, I can tell you that my birthdays are almost always sunny. And I studied the data. I pulled the data from NOAA, and I took a look, and yeah, I confirmed my analytical assumptions there. But the day is coming in Seattle when an 80-degree day in March isn't going to be, people aren't going to be celebrating it. They'll be like, oh, awesome, we had an 80-degree day in March. They're actually going to be really concerned. Because by 2050, Seattle will have as many high heat days as Dallas, Texas does currently. What does that mean for ecosystems? So one of the things I've been working on is I'm the chair and co-founder of Washington Business for Climate Action, and it's a group of about 260 businesses who have called for action on climate in Washington State. One of the things I've been doing is working with businesses to take action on climate. And at Virginia Mason, we're reducing our energy use, we're taking mass transit, we're reducing our greenhouse gas emissions by 30% by 2020. We're doing a lot of great work. Other business members are creating smart buildings. They're inventing new forms of concrete that emits less carbon, which I thought people would want to know when they remodel the big concrete monster over there. And they're just designing buildings with low embedded carbon, installing the next generation of solar panels, biofuels. I mean, it's really exciting. And even the outdoor industry and forestry and coffee are already collaborating because they understand that climate change poses a huge risk to their business and to the health of their community. So we know that climate change is real, that we're already experiencing it, and that it is us. So why haven't we acted? Why haven't human beings acted? I asked myself this question. Did a lot of research, and you know, we have the messaging of the doom and gloom stories of inconvenient truth, and we read it and we want to go cry in the corner. I know I do. I've wept before about it many times. But what researchers at Yale, George Mason University, Stanford, and the University of Michigan tell us about communication is that the climate change problem is now not a scientific problem, it's a social problem, and we need to treat it that way. And what the research says is we can't lead with doom and gloom, but we have to lead with hope. And thank you for your message about hope and the technical aspects too, I appreciate that. So here's how we do it. Do you want to hear what they say? If someone says they don't believe in climate change, you're not going to be able to change their mind by throwing science at them. You can't tell them 97% of climate scientists agree because it doesn't matter. They're in their social media bubble. They're in these self-reinforcing feedback loops, and they're entrenched in their social media circles. And I tried to diversify my social media circle by liking Fox News and the Republican National Convention. It's been fascinating. I encourage it. But what you can do, according to George Mason University Communication Research, is to pivot and focus on the benefits of acting on climate change and how climate change supports health. And so you can highlight the entrepreneurial and business opportunities, or even the resilience of having your own power on your roof during some of our windstorms, right? It's pretty exciting. And you can see this year, did anyone watch the new Al Gore video? Well, Al Gore has a new video, and it's not all doom and gloom and fire and crazy, oh my God, we're all going to die. It's a message about hope, and he's pivoted his messaging because of this research, and you can see it this year. And the new presentation doesn't make you want to cry, which is why I'm a fan of it. So I would posit that this new research represents the very way that the environmental movement needs to sort of course correct its communication. We reached a point in the evolution of the movement that it's time to move out of this mechanistic messaging like, okay, we need to move to an LED and that'll just solve all our problems. So we need to stop leading with blame, shame, and judgment and scare tactics, instead on focus on building resilience and hope through compassionate innovation. And every decision must be made in responding to this global crisis. We have to think about this crisis in every decision we made. How will humans adapt? How will this project help humans adapt to climate change? How will this help us mitigate the carbon that we're emitting? All these questions we should be asking in every project. And we must have a global shift of approach to everything we do to solve such a massive, far-reaching, and global problem. And because everyone's trying to solve it, we need everyone at the table. Growing up, my mentor and sort of adopted uncle, Sun Bear, he taught me that we have to focus on solutions. And one time he told me, he said, the only philosophy I want to hear about is he said this, the only thing I want to hear about, Brenna, is what is growing corn. So in other words, I want to hear about what's working. The only philosophy I want to hear about is one that grows corn. So really, we have to focus on what's working. And is your project growing corn? You can ask yourself. And if not, we got to let go of that thought and or judgment and work to find creative solutions. So I'm just going to wrap up by giving you 3 kind of main things I've learned in my career, and I hope that will benefit you. First of all, we have to build our compassion for ourselves and others in the environmental movement. Compassion for yourself is most important, because if you accept and love yourself, you can do that for others. You guys are all change agents, and what that means is you're going to have some very long days where you're going to go home and you're going to bang your head against the wall and be like, I did not get through to these people. What am I going to do? And believe me, ask my husband, he's right there. Oh my gosh, this guy's a saint. You have to get good care of yourself during those long hours, and it's not easy, so self-care and compassion is really important. Compassion for others also comes in around environmental choices. Maybe they aren't able to have the best sandals or drive an EV, or maybe they have to drive an old beater car, but maybe they haven't had their basic needs met. People that don't look or think or look like you, that or don't live in your neighborhood, they deserve your compassion. And so much of the environmental movement has been approached through the lens of privilege, and compassion helps to remove that falsity. Second one is grow your creativity. I love this one. You should all be Einsteins and Teslas in your backyard. Let's work, let's find new solutions, let's be creative. Try growing new vegetables, have a skunk works. We're going to need unprecedented levels of innovation to tackle climate change and environmental degradation in our generation. So I look forward to your projects. Find me on LinkedIn, send me what you're working on. The other thing is, someone say totes? Oh my gosh, so cool. Hashtag so cool. Okay, resilience. How resilient are you? Make sure that your home is ready for climate change and the new high temps. Heal whatever is, make sure you're inside have internal resilience that you can deal with ups and downs. And heal whatever's preventing that. Angelise Arian, a cross-cultural anthropologist, she says that we're, in this modern world, that we're addicted to what is not working. We're addicted to looking at what is not working. So we need to start looking at what's working and build our internal resilience. Does anybody in the audience watch the show called Alaskan Bush People? It's like one of my favorite shows. Oh my gosh. And you'll see, I love those people, and they're living in the bush in Alaska, and they're like at their cabins, and there's bears and nature. And I love those guys. You'll see they always focus on what went wrong. Oh my gosh, the brown luck. Oh no. And really, you look at, they're so lucky. They have the coolest place to live. They're living on an island. They got shellfish right there. They got crab. It's really cool, and it inspires others. So if they start focusing on what was working, it'd be so much better for them. So really, if we are focused on gratitude and what is working, and our internal resilience quotient would go way up, and we could buffer any storm or change which is coming. And we need to be able to adapt with ease and grace. So Huxley grads, we can do this. You can do this, I promise you. You can lead with compassion, creativity, and resilience. You can transition to a clean energy economy where the most vulnerable people in our communities and society are safe from the impacts of fossil fuels. We can use the best of humanity to solve the unintended consequences of climate change. I don't think the people who invented the combustion engine were trying to ruin the world, right? We can help our country transition into a new relationship with the natural world where we see our place in the web of life and we treat that with respect and responsibility. And you're the generation to do it. So I just want to thank you for your leadership, and I want to say congratulations. And I really am celebrating you today, and I'm looking forward to all of the great things that you're going to bring into the world. So congratulations.
Thanks, Brenna. It was wonderful. And thanks for coming back to Bellingham and being with us today.